Hey there! So I wanted to start a new video series with regards to getting your life back after the eating disorder. And I thought that quite a fitting topic to start off with is that of relationships. And when I say that, I mean getting girlfriends and boyfriends. The reason behind this is because quite a lot of you have been asking me about it, not only with regards to yourself, but also with my own personal experience. So I thought it would be quite a good idea to discuss it here. So for this video I thought I'd just talk a bit about my own personal experience and a bit more about what's going through my own mind at the moment with regards to it. And then just at the end I'll give you some important advice with regards to it as well. So why is it that I want to talk to you about this anyway? Well, what I've noticed, especially that I've been in hospital, and I've seen other people. A lot of people tend to make lists of things, reasons to get better, motivation posters, if you will. And aside from things like friends, family, getting a job, going back to school, one of the things that I see across almost every single one of these posters is getting a girlfriend or getting a boyfriend. And the need for human contact is universal. So it's understandable why people want it so badly. So what is it with my own personal experience? Well, to be perfectly honest with you, I've never had a girlfriend, and it's something that I don't intend on doing for about another 2 years, really. So why has this never happened? Some of you have asked me. So originally, when I started with the eating disorder, my self-esteem was on rock bottom, really, and I didn't really think about getting a girlfriend. It wasn't the thing that was on top of my mind. The thing that was on my mind always was what's happening with the next meal. That was it. I was living, almost in the moment, but not in the moment that you want to be living in. And yeah, so it wasn't great fun. And I went to Rhodes Farm first. What I realised is as the weight started to get back on and my mind started to go back into a better place, I was 14 at the time, so girls came back onto my mind, and I started to get attracted to people inside the eating disorder unit, which was not a good thing, and I knew that wasn't a good thing, and that's something I'll talk a bit about later, but I had to refrain myself there. And then when I went back to school, I did want to get a girlfriend, and the problem was that I was gone for almost a year, and in that year, a lot of things happened, because at the age of 13 or 14, a lot of things tend to happen. So I felt about a year out of sync with everyone else in the school, and as such, I didn't feel, I don't know, I just didn't feel like I was in the right space to talk to these people, because they were just so far ahead of me. And this game of catch up, slowly became more and more prevalent as the years went on, until I decided, I want a fresh start. So I left the private school that I was in, and on my own accord, I didn't want to be there anymore, because I felt that A, I'd lost too many friends with this. B, I needed a new environment, so that I could establish, something else, because I didn't really like that environment for recovery. And then C, I wanted to make new friends. I really wanted to make new friends, and this is the reason why I went to the state sixth form college in North London. And it was a great move, because my recovery went on leaps and bounds. But still, I don't know, I just felt behind the eight ball. I'd been gone for so long, essentially. The Simon that everyone knew was gone. That eating disorder took a hold, and it took so long for me to get Simon back. Because I felt that I couldn't, my self-esteem went down, and, I just wasn't able to. And then the same thing happened in university, and to that extent it was even worse, because I was so far behind. I'd never had a girlfriend to this point. I had no experience. So I was so far behind, and here I am now. Now, a couple of years ago, there was an opportunity to get a girlfriend, and she said she liked me, I said I liked her, and everything was going okay, and I thought, finally I've got a girlfriend. But the thing that happened that was quite nasty was a week after that, we said that we liked each other and we were about to, almost go out. She said there was someone else, and I was like, oh, okay. It was quite difficult for me to take that on board because my self-esteem was already quite low, and for someone to say that someone else is better than I was to them, it really didn't make me feel too good. And then after that, I was just happily going along because there was nothing I could do about it. And I didn't know who this other person was. It was never in the front of my mind because I was just sort of so shocked about it. But then it turns out that the person who was the other guy was the one guy who I was confiding in, admitting my feelings to this girl and asking what should I do, because I was just so excited at the time. And then for me to realise it was this guy, I was really, really upset, and I felt like I was stabbed in the back, and it wasn't good. That really set me back because not only was my self-esteem low, but I just felt like I couldn't trust anyone. So yeah, that's essentially what happened, and I haven't really had any other experience up until now. But the odd thing is that I eventually forgave both of these people, and the girl is still one of my best friends. She was amazing when I went back into hospital. When I was originally in Addenbrooke's hospital in the bed, she came and visited me so often, and it was great. The guy was, we are great friends, and yeah, I've just essentially forgiven them because there's nothing you can do about it. It's just one of those things, I guess. The reason why I haven't got a girlfriend now is a different reason, and it's related to my wanting to move to America. And I thought, if I get a girlfriend here and things get serious, I've got another reason to stay here, and it might be quite difficult for me to leave, and I don't want to make her upset because I'll have to break things off. And it's more with regards to what her feelings rather than my own personal desires of getting a girlfriend, and her feelings sort of outweigh my own personal desires essentially. So yeah, that's where I'm up to now. So some advice, I guess. Well, I can't really give you advice when it comes to relationships. When it actually comes to what's going on inside the relationship, because I've got zilch. But I can certainly try and give you some advice with regards to getting onto the relationship bandwagon. And the first thing is that when you come out of recovery, you might feel really behind with the times. And, I said I certainly was. But there was a time when I decided I wanted to buckle up, and I wanted to really get back into the scene of my own age group, and I was really trying. I tried to go out into all these social events, and it was at that time that I certainly felt that I was getting back into the scene, and it was only after I went through a bit of a rough patch and I sort of withdrew socially that I went back on myself. So if you can really make an effort to developing these relationships, even though you may have missed some time, it can certainly help you get back to the current times. With regards to self-esteem, as I said, my self-esteem was really low, and it was really difficult for me to do anything because I always thought that they would reject me. And one of the things that really helped me bring back my self-esteem, I remember it now and I don't understand why I didn't do it more often, was I spoke to someone who was close to me and I just told them all of the things I thought wrong about myself. And this person was one of my great friends at school. She really brought things into perspective for me, because one of the things about depression is that you sort of magnify on every little imperfection, and she showed me how I wasn't as bad as I thought I was, and that really did help. The other thing that can help is also related to therapy, and that's CBT therapy. It's something that you guys would probably be doing at the time anyway after you come out of recovery and you're doing outpatient things, but CBT certainly helps put things into perspective, and it makes you think of a healthier way of thinking. And that's one of the things that certainly has helped me in my time after coming out of my second inpatient stay, because I've really tried to keep up with the outpatient therapy. And, my self-esteem is great at the moment. I feel good about myself. The only thing that's stopping me from doing things about it is, as I said, I want to leave this country, and I don't want to break things off like that. The other thing, relationships are impulsive. When you start off, things are all exciting, and I guess one of the things that you've got to do is just release your inhibitions and just, if you feel that you like someone, just do it.
Do it!
Admit your feelings to them, so long as they're not married or something. Just do it.
Do it!
It's a very impulsive thing, and relationships are there to make you feel better. They are there to make you feel happy. It's a mixture of emotions, and if you can just sort of get over what's going through your mind, the reasons why you shouldn't be doing it, and the reasons why you feel you're not worthy, if you can just get over those for just a moment, that moment can be enough for you to just admit your feelings to this person and just do it.
Do it!
I can totally see that I'm putting in the Shia LaBeouf motivation video into this video now. Yeah, anyway, something that I previously alluded to in this video was getting into a relationship with someone who's also in recovery. Now, although I've previously said getting into a relationship is good, it can make you feel happy, the one thing that I suggest that you don't do is to get into a relationship with someone who's also in eating disorder recovery. And this is with a reason, and I have seen, I think, 2 or 3 relationships between people who are in recovery, and all of them have gone sour. And the reasons for this have been multiple, really. The first thing is that although you might think that it might be good for 2 people to come together and support one another, I haven't really seen that happening much. And that's because you're sort of so focused on your own recovery that if you try and help someone else along the way, you forget about yourself, and as such you begin to fall behind. And although you're trying to help them, they're also falling behind because they're trying to help you. So in a way, even though you're both trying to help each other, you're both not doing good for yourselves. So the effects sort of cancel out and then some. So you're both sort of falling back a bit. That's what I've seen anyway. The other thing, I don't know if this happens often, but in one of the relationships, certainly, the 2 people were almost competing with one another. Their eating disorders, I mean. And as such, they really didn't do well. They sort of started competing against one another, jokingly at first. I think it was that they would say who can not eat the most amount of toast at breakfast or something. And that competition sort of transpired to get worse and worse as time went on, to the point where they would be trying to throw away half their meal, and it really didn't help at all. And I guess also in relation to the competitive nature of eating disorders, when you get so close to someone, you also begin to see their own habits, and that can reflect on you, and you can begin to display those habits. That's personally what I saw in those 2 people anyway. So I suggest that you don't really get into a relationship with someone who's also in eating disorder recovery. So that's the end of this video. If you've got any other questions, please do let me know, and I will endeavour to try and make another video. If you like this idea of a new series, please also let me know, and also suggest any other topics. But for now, thanks for watching.